And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Tuesday morning's flying weather looking pretty good here over the interior. A lot of VFR from the Brooks Range right on down into Cook Inlet, all the North Gulf Coast. IFR up here along the central and eastern Arctic coast, and some marginal VFR. Chukchi Sea across the Seward Peninsula, and this in across the southwest interior down to Kodiak Island. Much of the northern eastern Bering Sea, a band of IFR right through here with that system coming down from the northwest there, pushing IFR to the Pribilof Islands and the eastern Aleutians, and marginal for the western Aleutian chain. And then for the afternoon hours, that big storm continues to weaken and push eastward here, and that brings IFR in across Prince of Wales Island with marginal VFR elsewhere over the southern panhandle. You can see the northern areas, good VFR up into Lynn Canal, Glacier Bay, all the North Gulf Coast and areas south and east of the Alaska Range VFR, up through the upper Tanana Valley 40-mile country and the Brooks Range VFR into the North Slope. This area of IFR now just right along the Arctic coast there, and it looks like some VFR breaking out here for the southwest coast. And area IFR here still mainly affecting just the Pribilof Islands. Marginal VFR actually from Kodiak here all the way out to Atka, and then some moisture pushing IFR in from Shimei and Attu eastward to Adak. And you can see on Wednesday morning that area pushes eastward here with IFR now just west of Nikolsky all the way out to the Komodorskis, and still some breaks here along the southwest coast. Otherwise the southwest interior, marginal VFR, and that extends right on up to the mid-Yukon River Valley areas. Kobuk Valley, Koyukuk, Yukon Flats, northward across the Brooks Range to the North Slope, VFR, marginal VFR for the Arctic coast, and that area IFR now pulling off the coast there to the north. VFR holding here over the eastern interior, right on down to the North Gulf Coast, and improving there for the southern panhandle, but still look for some marginal VFR. And then on Wednesday afternoon, marginal VFR forecast for all of the southeast coast, and some moisture with a little bit of an increase in southerly flow here. Looking at marginal VFR and the increase for Prince of Wales Island, actually from Yakutat into Whittier Portage area, Kenai Peninsula, Kodiak Island, but Cook Inlet, Manusquesit Valley eastward here to the into Canada, and then northward, and then back to the west, all VFR, and some IFR here, extending from St. Matthew Island down to the Pribilofs, and still IFR here from Atka Island westward to Shimei, and for passes for Anatuvik Tuesday, looking really nice. VFR for Adigan as well. And Lake Clark and Merrill, marginal VFR early becoming VFR. And it looks like a VFR late morning through the afternoon period there for rainy and windy. Lower conditions early on becoming VFR. Isabel VFR. Mintasta VFR, and for Tanita VFR. And Portage also VFR flying the entire day on either approach. Chilkoot and White VFR. Freezing levels here at about 2,000 feet over the eastern interior, and then 4,000 feet around the panhandle there, and kind of an area of 4,000 foot plus here right through this area, then back down to 2,000 feet along the southwest coast, and northern Bering Sea there with the much warmer air out here to the western Aleutians, running 8 to 12,000 feet out that way. And for icing, got some with that system down here affecting the eastern Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula, with some isolated moderate possibilities of rime icing there. Heavier icing with that weakening big storm moving across and heading in toward the Queen Charlotte Islands, Dixon Entrance. So I'll bring a chance of some considerable moderate icing there to the Prince of Wales Island area over toward Misty Fjords and southward. And then this area out here will be sliding southeastward out of the Russian Far East, and they'll be spreading in toward the Pribilof Islands and down into the eastern Aleutians late Tuesday night and into Wednesday. Jet stream here. You can see northwest flow here out over the Bering Sea. I'll be pulling that, any systems up here, be dropping southeastward quite rapidly in that flow there. A trough here along the west coast, and then light winds out of the south over the interior, nothing too significant. Main jet now well south of the southeast coast here as that strong storm center weakens and moves eastward there across the southern panhandle. Again, this at 33,000 feet. 9,000 feet, that low center a little farther to the south there, and all the heavy winds with it. Otherwise, pretty light winds over the interior out into the Bering Sea there, at least into the central Bering Sea, down to the eastern Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula. Northwest winds back to the west. And at 3,000 feet here, stronger winds farther out there to the west at about 65 knots coming in toward the far western Aleutians. Otherwise, a little area of 40-knot winds here for the Alaska Peninsula associated with this low. Light winds over the interior and into the Gulf of Alaska. And again, this low tracking in toward Dixon Entrance here at 3,000 feet, or the southern southeast coast. But the heaviest winds are going to be down to the south there, as you can see, 70 knots there. And then could be some east-northeasterlies up to 40 knots on the north side of that over the central panhandle. And with that stronger wind pattern here, could see severe turbulence surface to 4,000 feet from about Sitka to Port Alexander down across Prince of Wales Island. Otherwise, light to isolated moderate here, extending back into Kamishak Bay, Barren Island areas, and Fognak Island, as well as Kodiak Island. And then a big breakout here. Could be a little bumpy with some west-northwest winds there for the Alaska Peninsula, but nothing serious. And then stronger winds out here to the west bring considerable moderate turbulence out to the western Aleutians.